In this video, we're going to finish off our workload monitoring dashboard by adding this readiness chart down here at the bottom of our athlete cards. So for this readiness chart, you're going to be able to select your start and end dates, and the readiness chart will automatically update to display a graph to visualize those variables. If you want to not have a start date, it will just show all of the dates up to your end date. This is going to be a really powerful way to visualize your readiness over time and allow you to quickly and easily make decisions about your athletes. So let's get after it. Okay, so we're back, and in order to finish off this project, we should be up to this point here where we have our athlete card, we have some of our sleep, stress, mood, soreness, all of the information about that athlete, as well as this filter bar on the left-hand side where we can select the different metrics that we want to see. Now for this video, what we're going to do is add in the readiness chart at the bottom, and then I'm going to show you how to copy this card a bunch of times so that you can finish off your dashboard. So basically, the first thing that I want to do is just underneath this spot where we're monitoring all of our stress and different things, I'm going to add some boxes. So the first row, I'm going to highlight that and merge and center. And then underneath, I'm going to do about 5 rows, and then all the way across, merge and center. And I'm just going to put a large border around these. So I'll just highlight the whole thing, and I'll put a square around it, but I'm going to make the square thick so that it matches sort of my other borders. From there, what I'll do is I'll just copy this cell here and paste it in there, and I'm just going to call it readiness. So READI. So just like that. And let me just make sure that it didn't change the row size. So we'll just say specify row size. So in here is where we're actually going to do our chart. Now, what I want to be able to do is select the dates for this chart. So easy way to do that is I'm just going to copy this filter here, and I'll paste it underneath, and I'm just going to call it readiness dates. And instead of metric 1, I'll say start date and end date. And now from there, what we have to do is have somewhere where we can actually have these dates stored. So an easy way that we can do that is if I go back to my control panel, I'm going to create another list. So I'll copy this player card just for formatting, and I can call this start date. And basically what I'll do here is I'm going to type a formula to pull out all of the dates. So I'll say equals unique, and what I want is the unique of all of the different dates. So if I go to my wellness data and I select this dates column, I want to go from B2 all the way to B, and I'll hit enter, and there are all of my dates. Now the only other thing I want to do is, just in case my data is not sorted, I want to sort this here. So I'm going to use the sort function. So I'll say around my unique, I'll say sort, open that up. It's going to ask me what the column I want to sort is. I only have one, and then it's going to ask me if I want ascending, and I'm going to put a 1 there. And it's not going to change anything because my data is all sorted, but if they weren't, then it would sort all of my dates for me so that as I'm scrolling through, I'll know what I'm looking for. And then the one last thing I want is end dates. Now for end dates, we need to work on our actual filters first. So the first thing I'll do is for my start date, I'll create a filter. So data validation, list from range. And in this case, we want the list to be our start dates, and hit OK, save, and I'll select a date. Now, in order to avoid confusion, when I select a start date, I want all of my end dates to be basically greater than that. So I'm going to write a formula to pull those out now. So what this is going to look like is equals filter, and these are already sorted. So I'm just going to filter J2 all the way down, so these dates here, and I want to filter it when those dates, again, are greater than the date that we've selected. So coach dashboard C26. I'm going to lock that in because I know that that's not going to change. And then I'll close that off and hit enter. And what you can see is now all of the dates that are less than that date are not shown. So if I were to select another one, let's say 2022-01-16, I only have a few end dates left. But if I was to delete that, then all the dates are going to be available. So this just allows you to quickly select a date that's automatically bigger. Now what I have to do is just create that data validation. So I'll go data validation, and I'll go back to my control panel, and I'll create that range right there. Sorry, K2 all the way down, and hit enter and save. And now I'm able to select basically my start and end date. So that's part one. So now that we have a start and end date, what we have to do is create basically our chart in here. And to do that, we're going to use a sparkline formula. So this is kind of a big formula. What I'm going to do is write it off to the side first so that you can see how it works. So the first thing I want to do is write a filter formula to pull out all of the wellness dates that are between these two basically dates. Or sorry, pull out all the wellness values that are between these two dates basically. So what this is going to look like, I'm going to make this a bit bigger because it's kind of a big formula. Excuse me. It's going to look like this. Equals filter, open this up. Now we want to pull out our wellness data. We want to pull out the readiness scores. So it's going to look like this. Index, open this up, wellness data, double comma, and then match. We want to match for readiness and comma, and then we want to do it in wellness headers and false. Okay, so what this is saying is I want to pull out the readiness scores from my data. So basically all of this column here. So we'll go back to my dashboard here. And now, comma, when do we want to do it? I'm going to use Alt-Enter to add these different conditions. So I'm going to just copy this because we're going to be using this index match a bunch. So I'll paste that. And this time, instead of readiness, what we want to look for is athlete name. And we want to do it when the athlete name is equal to the name that we've selected, or F6, comma. Alt-Enter, paste. We also want to do it when the date is greater than or equal to the start date. So C26, and that is never going to change. So we will lock that in, comma, Alt-Enter. Let's do it one more time. And also when the date is less than or equal to the end date. So C27, and that is never going to change. So we'll lock that in. And I'm going to close that off, hit enter. So what you're going to see is these are all of the wellness scores between those two dates. If I extend this range, sorry, let me just change it around here. If I extend this range to be as big as possible, we can actually get all of our wellness scores. Okay, so basically this filter is pulling out all of the wellness for Beverly Bronco between these two dates. Now the next thing we need to do with this formula is we need to pull out all of the dates between those two dates. So I'm going to just copy this exact same formula, and what I'm going to do is hit V, and instead of readiness now we're going to pull out the date. Hit enter. So those are all of the dates basically for those exact variables. Okay, now to put this together, what I want to do is I want to sort these variables here by the dates. Okay, and the way that we're going to do that is I'm just going to join these two formulas together. Okay, so I'm going to copy the readiness one, hit Control C, and I'm going to hit equals sort n. Sorry, I just need sort. Open that up, and the range that I want is going to be that first formula that we made So the readiness, and then comma. Now it's going to ask me what I want my sort column to be. The sort column is going to be that second formula. Okay, I'm just going to take away this equals and change this to date. And then go to the end of this formula. Just the same way we did before. And now it's going to ask me, is it ascending? And in this case, we're going to put a 1 for ascending and close that off and hit enter. And it gives us a quick error. We have a parse error somewhere in here. I'm imagining that I just haven't closed off all of my formulas. Yeah, so I have an extra equals up here, that's all. And hit enter. And there is our values. And these are now sorted by the date. Okay, so basically to walk you back through this, sort, this is the first, this is what we're pulling out. So this is the readiness. And then we are sorting it by the date. And then it is ascending, so we're adding a 1. Okay, now from there, I'm going to copy this whole formula. I know it's large, and hit Control C. And inside of this readiness tab, I'm going to put it inside of a spark line. So I'm going to say equals spark line, open this up, paste that in there. And now I'm going to get to the end, hit comma, and it's going to ask me for the options of my spark line. Again, I'll enter, and I'll tell you how to enter the options. So now for the options, we're going to use a squiggly bracket and quotations chart type. Open that up, and then quotations, comma, we want quotations column, C-O-L-U-M-N, quotations, and then a semicolon, and now we want color, C-O-L-O-R, and just to match the motif of our thing, we'll put navy, quotations, comma, or semicolon, sorry, and then what we want is the Y max. So Y max, and that is the Y axis or the vertical axis. We know what we want the max value to be because we're measuring 4 values out of 10. The max is going to be 40. So that's just going to set the scale. And then I will close off the squiggly brackets and close off the spark line and hit enter. And now all of a sudden we have our chart. And for some reason, it's not giving me a column chart. I think I spelled it wrong. Yep, I just had it. I need one more T in there. And there's our chart type. So as I change the actual dates, you can see our chart automatically updates. Now the last thing that we want is I'm just going to put an if error around this. So I'll wrap this whole formula in an if error. So that means if for whatever reason there's an error, comma at the end, let's display no data. And then close that whole thing off. It's not going to change what it looks like, but basically now we have this automatically updating wellness chart that as I change my dates, it will automatically reflect the dates for that athlete. And all we did was stitch 2 filter formulas together. So I'm just going to delete those now. And then to finish off this project, what we have to do is I should be able to just copy and paste this, but I have to go through and make sure that the things that are supposed to be kind of stuck in place are. So all of my references, I don't want them to change as I paste it. So let's go through and check. So when we're pulling out this jersey number, you can see F6 refers to the athlete name, but athlete info AJ, when I go to copy and paste that somewhere else, it's actually going to change. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a named range called athlete info. So I'm just going to copy athlete info AJ, and we'll go to data, named ranges, and athlete info AJ, we'll just call that athlete info. So every time I see that, I'm just going to change it to athlete info, and that will make sure that that stays in place. So I'll hit done there. Whoops. Invalid range just means I didn't copy the whole thing. So let's just paste that in there. Hit done. And now what's going to happen, if I actually change this just to athlete info, the formula is not going to change, but if I were to go and paste this over one, it's still going to work, and all of my formulas are still, oh, I still have Beverly Bronco, that's why. If I change the athlete, that's all going to work. So let's do that for the rest of them. Athlete info AJ, we'll just change it to athlete info. Hit enter. Now these ones are all coded to this side panel, so I just need to lock these in place because I know that those are always going to be in the same place, so I'm just going to lock those. And all I'm doing is just putting a $sign around the letter and the number, and then just hitting enter a couple times to move down. And I'll do it one more time down here. And now let's go through here. The other one we have here is athlete info 11, and that is looking at the headers. So let's make a named range for that one. Format, conditional formatting, or sorry, data, named range. And athlete info 11, we'll call that athlete header. Done. And I'm going to change this one to athlete info, remember, and then this athlete info 11 we'll call athlete header. And I should be able to hit enter, nothing changes. So we just have to go through and do that for each one now. Athlete info, athlete header. I'm just going to copy athlete header and just paste that over top each time. Athlete info, athlete header. And this is just a fast way to fix up all of your formulas. And what you'll see in a second is I'm going to be able to copy and paste this, and it's going to work all over again. So athlete header, athlete info. So this whole section should be able to be copied. If I go Control C and then paste it in the same relative spot, you can see now we have a new athlete that's all working off of this drop down now. So let's work on our sleep and stress. Again, we just have to lock these in place. I hit enter. We'll do these 4 headers basically first. Do each of these, and then I just have to switch the formula around a little bit. Okay, now let's make sure these formulas all work. Wellness header, so these all have, these are all matching the right thing. So I should be able to copy this one over, I believe. There we go, but I think it might be matching for a name. Yeah, it's still matching off the same name. So let's just change that. So instead of locking this one in, we'll just delete the actual $signs from around where the name is so that it moves. And then the last one. So let's copy this and paste this one more time. There we go. And then I'm pretty sure the readiness one that we just created, I should be able to just paste that over and we get the chart for that athlete. So I'll close this off. And then what you'll see is now I can take this whole card and paste it one over here. And then I can paste it underneath. So let's go, we'll leave 2 and we'll paste it underneath. And then I'll paste it over and paste it over. And let's change the athletes. So we have Catherine, we'll do Jessica, we'll do Christina, Sydney, and then this one we'll leave blank. And because of how we've created all of our stuff, everything will be blank. And then to finish this off, at the bottom here, we'll just add a bit of a border. And on the top and on the bottom, let's add a double line. So I'll add it on the bottom and on the top. But let's make it kind of a navy blue color, like what we've been working with. So I'll add that back in. Top, bottom. So we have this navy kind of blue color. And then inside, let's just put athlete workload monitoring dashboard. But you could put whatever you want in there. We'll just check the font that we were using up here. I believe it was Impact. So we'll make this Impact at the bottom. Make it a bunch bigger. and I'll put it kind of in the middle. And then delete. And then what we'll do is let's work on printing this. So if I go to print, you can see that's kind of what it looks like. But if I change some things around, so if I say current sheet, and then we'll say, let's say fit to page, and then margins, let's go custom numbers. Let's make this 0.1, maybe on the top 0.1, bottom left 0.1, and then bottom 0.1. There's our wellness kind of dashboard. And then in terms of formatting, take off grid lines, take off notes, and then headers and footers, we don't want any of that. So if I was to print this, it would print sort of a one page and look really nice. So I hope that this helps you out as you finish off your dashboard. Basically, we just create one card, and as long as all of the references are right, you can just copy and paste that card multiple times and create this dashboard. So that'll do it for this tutorial. I will see you in the next one. If you liked this tutorial, please like and subscribe to the channel because that really helps me out. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.